Hey ladies and gentlemen, so let's take a look at how we insert a cylinder into a cylindrical hole. So if we look at this vehicle body, so this is like a dragster, got this wedge, let's say it's made out of foam, and we got two holes in there, here's a hole, and this axle is supposed to go in there. So of course this hole, let's pretend it's drilled through, so it's a cylindrical hole. And then we have a cylinder because the axle is a cylinder. I want to place that in. It's important that they're the proper size so they fit. So that's, of course, you need to do that. Make sure you got them the right size. I made mine 1/8 inch in diameter. So what we do, a couple different ways we can do this. So a lot of times in this program, there's multiple ways of doing things. One thing I, of course, need to do is I need to have these pluses open in my browser so I can see what I have done and what I'm doing. So as you notice, I have not done any constraints yet. So I'm going to constrain this into there. If we look, one way that you can do it is with this insert constraint. So at some point, you'll want to use this. At some point later on with your 3D modeling, you might have to use this. For us right now, we can actually use mate. Whereas when we think of mate, mate is usually, we think about it for like flat surfaces touching. So if I click there and there and bam, that's usually what we think of for mate. But what's really nice is the computer kind of notices things for us. So for example, if I click this surface, right now I'm just on the side. If I'm really close to the edge, then now I'm just kind of clicking the edge of the circle. But if I move my mouse a little bit, now it's kind of showing that dashed line. And that's kind of like the computer saying, hey, the computer's like, hey, this is a cylinder. I'm noticing this is a cylinder, and I'm thinking ahead that you want to put something like a cylinder into this cylindrical hole. So we're like, yeah, computer, you're right. So when the computer brings up the dash line, I click that. So now the computer's ready for what I want to put in there. So I don't want to click the top of this because that's flat, that's the end. I'm not constraining that to the hole. I want to click the side of this. So now notice that line shows up as well here. So it's like saying, the computer's like saying, hey, I noticed that this is a cylinder as well. Let's put those two together. So I apply it. And now that baby's stuck in there. Now it comes out, but it is stuck in there in what will be the X and the Y axes. So right now I just have to do the Z because it slides in and out. So now I want you to think about, well, what type of constraint would we do then to finish this off? We only have to do one. We have to do it to the Z-axis. What type of constraint would we do to lock this in so it does not slide in and out? What do you think? So hopefully you thought, hey, this is a flat surface. This is a flat surface. They're both pointing in the Z-axis. So that's what we need to be clicking. Flat surface, two flat surfaces. And let's say, are the flat surfaces looking at each other? Or are the flat surfaces looking towards, let's say, the same wall? So if we look here, this one, let's say, so in my view, it's pointing that way, and then the dowel is also, or the axle is also pointing that way. So both are pointing to the same wall, so then that must mean we use a flush. So I'm going to flush, bam, bam, that baby's locked in there now. But if you notice, hey, some of it popped out. Well, why did that happen? Well, that's because I said this needs to be flushed to there. So for this instance, for my vehicle here, is I need to offset that out. So you're going to have to do some calculating here. So if this vehicle is 1 inch wide and this axle is 1.5 inches wide, I need to offset it how much? So if this is 1 inch wide and this is and the axle is 1.5 inches wide, so I subtract 1.5 and 1, and then I have 0.5 left over. So this space right here is 0.5. I need to divide that in two, so I have so I split that 0.5 up. So some of it's on one side, some of it's on the other. So 0.5 divided by 2 is 0.25. All right, but now it's going out. It's going where I don't want it. So the opposite of 0.25, negative 0.25. I click apply and OK or X that out. And right now we have a cylinder that is completely stuck. And now for these wheels, so I'm trying to get these wheels on here, I would just do the same thing. So I'd go to the mate, the computer's noticing this is a cylinder. I zoom in here. Again, I don't want to click the edge. I want to get that dashed line in there. I click that, I apply it, and then, of course, I have to flush here to here, and then that wheel is done. And then I just repeat for the other ones. So that wheel should not come off. It'll spin, but it shouldn't come off. Solid. Yeah. Try it out.